How we doing, guys? We are back with the B team here after Super Wild Card Weekend. Mike, can we get a round of applause for your
good?
boy?
Yo, good shit.
What a way to step into the playoffs! I predicted every single football game this weekend. We had the Birds, we had the Rams, we had the Commanders, we had the Ravens, we had the Bills, and then we had the Texans. I picked three underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
3 underdogs.
Good stuff.
I'm proud of that. That was a good weekend.
That was
a really good weekend.
That really was. Did you bet? Did you take
10
that
to
away?
win 275?
You bet that?
Yeah.
And you won it?
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
I didn't know you bet it. Good shit.
10 to win 275.
Massive.
I didn't want to talk about it because I was nervous because I was like, going into the last game, this is going to be a tough game.
Mm-hmm. No.
You know,
blowout.
Ended up not being a tough game.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of
two really good games, though.
Yeah.
2 really good games. Yeah, no, the gambling side of this weekend, I think it was hit or miss because, I mean, you and I obviously had that terrible one with the Packers.
That's on me. Hand up.
But
Hand up.
It was a good week for the dogs that we saw coming, I would say. Like Houston, we kind of saw them coming. We saw the Commanders there. You know, the Bucks. I would say our hearts are with the Bucks, our brains are with the Commies.
I did like the Commies plus 3.5. I took that in another parlay, but I thought the Bucks would win it by a field goal. Other way around.
Then the Rams game. Obviously we thought it was going to be closer, and we're going to get into that today. But there was a part of me, and I said it on the show last week, where because obviously I took the Rams, but you know I said Cooper Kupp's going to be making a play or two. And he did. He had that great spinning catch. You know, I said that guys like Higbee, there's certain guys on that Rams team that are going to have to step up, and they did, and they pulled out that victory. And, you know, it's making this divisional round look really interesting as I'm sitting here looking at the matchups. It's gonna be another good weekend. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Let's get into the last 2 wildcard games, though.
Come
on. Which one do you want to start with? You want to start with Rams and Vikings?
Let's go Commies. Let's go Commies Bucks first.
All right, Commies beat the Bucks 23-20 on a game-winning field goal. It is now the 5th win in a row for the Commanders that has come on the last play of the game. Like, this Commanders team just keeps getting it done. There's something about them that is like they have a little bit of magic going, you know, all season.
That's what I thought the Bucks were. I thought the Bucks were the team of the team of fate, you know.
Yeah.
They had that. They had that, I don't know, momentum in a way. They were rolling. They were playing well. They got the Mike Evans incentive. Like, I felt like they were very close together.
Yeah.
I still thought they had a pretty good game regardless. I mean, just
it came down to the last play.
It came down like fourth quarter, last 2 minutes. It just when Baker and the McMillan handoff exchange, that fumble, I mean, just turned the tide. They score there. They score a touchdown there. The game's pretty much over. But I mean, I think next year those guys are going to be that team is going to make it far, in my opinion. I think they're only going to get better. Mike Evans will come back. Godwin will hopefully be healthy. I think McMillan, if Godwin stays, but I think McMillan is kind of gelling into that wide receiver 2 role, whether Godwin is gone or does stay. And Bucky Irvin, I mean, we give that guy a round of applause. Around 1,600 all-purpose yards. Rookie out of the draft. Rachaad White had that backfield, and he stepped up and overtook that role instantly. So they got their guy in Tampa Bay, and they got a nice running back too in Rachaad White, only on the come up there. But yeah, no, I thought they played well enough to win the game, but crucial turnovers like that change the whole pace of play. I mean, you got to give credit to the Commanders. I mean, Jaden Daniels, I think that's why he's going to win Rookie of the Year. I thought Bo had it, and I think Bo still has a chance, but I think Jaden's going to run away with it. I mean, the way this rookie quarterback has been playing, and in the fourth quarter just comes alive, bro. Like, he's been shaky, like, early on in the year, like, first half of the year. He's played multiple teams and it's been sloppy, but when it comes down to it, like, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, and he does. And they got their guy, man. They got him for a long time. He's going to haunt that division for a while.
No, absolutely. And talking about the Bucks real quick, you know, Bucky Irving, he really didn't come into his own until, week 5, 6? And then he really started to put it on and show everyone what he's about. He had 17 for 77 last night. Good game.
Tutty.
Seemed to be better. Tutty. That was a big tutty for me.
A lot of people.
But this team, it was a team that had injuries in the middle of the year, you know, both sides of the ball, all three phases of the ball. And, you know, if they're healthy, maybe they don't struggle getting into the playoffs. Maybe they, you know, come in with a little more momentum. You know, they could rest some guys week 17. There was a lot of things that I felt like for Tampa Bay coming down the stretch just didn't go their way. And, you know, one of them was being in a battle with Atlanta Falcons, who really didn't deserve to be in that position whatsoever.
Yeah, they fumbled their own game there.
So I'm excited to see what they can do next season, because I do think if they bring everyone back, that all the important pieces back, they could make another run at this thing or even be a higher seed going into the playoffs, although there is a possibility the seeding's going to change. I don't know if you saw that.
Really? They're talking about it?
Yeah.
They should, dude.
They should. They should, but that's a conversation for the offseason.
But then you see a game like the Vikings and the Rams, and that's exactly why it exists.
Yes. Or Houston.
And
but talking about the Bucs, next year it's going to be interesting what they do, because you look at that Atlanta Falcons team, you know, they're going to ride with Michael Penix. You know, Kirk Cousins might still be there, but it's Michael Penix's team. That's going to be a completely different looking Atlanta Falcons. And Carolina even. You know, Bryce Young has looked like you could make an argument that Bryce Young in the last 4 weeks of the season, 5 weeks of the season, was the best quarterback in that division. Yeah. You could make an argument for that. And that's saying something, because Baker Mayfield's been fantastic this year, and there was times where he was in the MVP conversation. Saints obviously are dog
we don't know what's going
to We don't know what's happening there.
Like, I'm with you there.
Like, follow, subscribe, back to the show.
It's one of those, like, they're one of those teams that loses games that they shouldn't, but then wins games that they shouldn't as well. Like, they can easily, if they control their own destiny and do what they have to do. I think the pieces on offense is a really good team on offense. For me, it's a secondary. I think the secondary needs help. You got Winfield Jr. at safety, but you don't really have playmakers like that, especially in coverage. When it comes to tackling, one thing, because they're hard-nosed, they're gritty, but they cannot cover for the life of them. And that's been an issue for them all season. So if they can address that secondary, I think they'll be much better next year.
And Commanders, dude.
Do you hate this that they're like
winning
right now?
No, I was cheering for them. I'm happy they're doing this, but it's like, because it just cements the fact that the NFC East is the hardest division in the country. And Jaden Daniels being the rookie of the year, I mean, I know last show we were talking about Bo Nix possibly being that guy. You watch this game, and if it was neck and neck coming into last night, it's no longer neck and neck. Jaden Daniels has this thing on locks. It's impressive what he's putting up.
He's what the Cardinals wanted Kyler to be.
In NFL history, Mike, right? In NFL history, there have been 3 instances of a team having 0 turnovers and 0 punts in a game behind a rookie starting quarterback. All right? Think about all the good rookie starting quarterbacks. Name the 3. There's only been 3 times that's happened. Jaden Daniels did it last night, so 2 more.
Andrew Luck?
No. Give you 2 more guesses.
Man, there's a lot.
It was Jaden Daniels and Jaden Daniels again. The kid is on fire. He's the only one in history to do this. It's 3 times. All you had to do was say Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels.
We going back to the 60s,
bro? Unreal.
Yeah. I know.
Like, the team's rolling. They have a serial loser as a head coach, so I don't see them coming back next year and doing anything. But they have a chance against the Lions. I believe that they could beat the Lions. It's going to be a long shot, but they could do it.
Who has a better chance, the Texans against the Chiefs or Commies against the Lions?
Commies. The Texans, I mean, my only reason for saying this is because the Texans have been struggling.
Yeah.
You know, they've been struggling. The Commies, it's been consistent. You know, every game is close for them. Every game's close. With teams like this, you see it in hockey a lot, where a team that just keeps it close somehow pulls off wins against these top teams. And then all of a sudden they're in the playoffs and they're that sneaky team you don't want to see. They're that team that the 1 seed's playing and they lose. You know, you looked at Tampa Bay all those years. They lost how many times in the first round as a 1 seed? This is the same type of team. The Commanders are that team that could take down a 1 seed and then make a little run. I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl here because they probably won't, but they can make a little run and make some noise. And I'm excited for that game. I might be taking the Commanders again. I don't know.
It'll be a big spread. It'll be like an 8.5, 7.5 spread. So,
especially when you got the OCD kicker Zane Gonzalez. We got to talk about that.
Doinker.
We got to talk about that. I mean,
hey, he's had a long career, man. He's been
long
all
career.
Over. So
phenomenal. Props to him because he knows what he's doing. He started doing that stuff with like 5 minutes to go till the kick, and he got his shit together. He walks up to the field, brushed his hair a couple more times, and then just drills one against the field goal post and in. In the most not Vikings, in the most Washington Commanders way, winning that game.
You know who I'm happy for, man? Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin has been on that team for his whole career. He's probably, a 7-year veteran now.
He's been waiting for 1 year like this.
He's just been waiting for a quarterback his whole career. And, like, it's one of those receivers that gets forgotten a lot because he puts up the numbers, but, again, like, no one thinks of Washington as any threat whatsoever for the last 6 to 7 years. But now when you have Jaden Daniels
Year
there,
6.
this is why it's good for them because you see a guy like him, and it's gonna attract a lot of guys in the offseason, whether it be defense, whether it be offense. Like they have the players, but they can clearly get better. Like if they can get younger, they have a lot of veterans on that team, especially on offense. If they can get more youth in there, obviously when they had Jahan, like things didn't work out, but just another good receiver on his hand, or on defense, the same thing. I mean, they're going to be an attractive spot to go to because Jaden Daniels is the way you see that guy play. People are going to want to play with him. And now that they're competing and now that they're making the playoffs, they're in a tough division with the Birds and the Cowboys. Giants I will leave out. But it's attractive, and I think they're only going to get better, and I think they can make a run, like, for a while. Like, I believe they'll be a playoff.
10 years.
I believe they'll be a playoff team pretty much. Listen, they're going to have some faults here and there. They'll have, like, a bad year. People will get injured, blah, blah, blah. It happens, football, but no, this was a statement year for them, big time.
Yeah, and we're going to see how good Jaden Daniels is because next year he ain't having Cliff Kingsbury.
Yep.
That guy's gone. He's going to be a head coach somewhere.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a whole new offensive coordinator there. That's
a big question mark for me, is the coaching. Like, because we know Dan Quinn, we know what he is. Like, yes, he's made a Super Bowl. Yes, he's been a head coach for years in the league. But you know how he is. You know what Dan Quinn is. You've dealt with him.
He's going to lose eventually.
Cliff is the same thing. Cliff has been in Arizona. He's been around the block. So
here's what I like about Cliff, though. I think Cliff's chances to be a good head coach somewhere are much higher than Dan Quinn's are to be a good head coach next year and on in Washington. Cliff had an experience in Arizona. It wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't great.
Yes.
And, I think he's learned a lot from that. And you look at what he's doing this year with that offense. I think the next run at an head coaching job for him is going to work out. I really do. And if it's in Dallas, I'll be ecstatic. Talking about Dan Quinn, though, I have a nice little Steelers stat for you.
Go ahead.
All right, so here we go, Steelers. Since Mike Tomlin's last playoff win, Dan Quinn took the Falcons to the Super Bowl. Dan Quinn was fired by the Falcons. Dan Quinn spent 3 years as the Cowboys OC. Dan Quinn got hired by the Commanders, and Dan Quinn took the Commanders to the playoffs and won a playoff game. He also won one with the Cowboys in that time. I don't want to be the one to say it, but y'all are the dumbest fan base in the country.
The fans still want him, bro. They still want him back.
Like, how do you still want this guy?
Listen, let's not get down this loophole, but, like, I get why they do, but
Mike, I said this.
I can't even, like, fucking put up a sentence about it.
I said this to multiple people. He's been your coach. I know he won a Super Bowl in year 2?
It's been a long time.
In year 2. And since then, what has he done besides lose the first game in the playoffs and be 500? He has his years. We get it. You can't be 500 anymore, so you might be 10-7, whatever. But, like, he has his years where he has a few more wins and he gets 12. Whoop-de-doo. The Vikings had 14. But when you get to the playoffs and you don't win, the Cowboys have won more games than you in the playoffs. And the Cowboys get clowned every year for not winning in the playoffs. Yet we don't like to say that about the 49ers, who haven't won a Super Bowl since longer than the Cowboys, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who simply just can't win in the playoffs with Mike Tomlin. Yeah, so I said this to multiple people. How long are you willing to be a 500, maybe a game or two higher, and lose in the first round? How long are you willing to do that? And they all are like, well, it's better than just never making the playoffs at all. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you, how long is it acceptable for the Steelers to be a team that's 500, subpar, scraping and fighting to make the playoffs, and then lose the first game? Because it's not okay for a top franchise to do that. And listen, I don't care if your GM's been there a year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't care about that because your owner's been around the block long enough. Mike Tomlin's been there long enough. So if we're going to pull the card, well, our GM's only been there 2 years. Is your GM coaching the games? Has your GM been coaching the games the last 10 years? Who's been in charge the last 10 years? Because there's two people that have been there the whole time, and it's not the GM. The GM's made some good moves, but at the end of the day, the person that is in charge of the actual game, Mike Tomlin and co., is the person that should be taking the fall.
I just think
the GM's done his job.
Yeah. Omar Khan has done his job.
Now it's down to plan.
I do apologize. He has made good moves. Has not found a quarterback. Try with Russ. That's fine. Colbert, fucking bum. Omar Khan's doing what he has to do. So I was more so talking about Colbert.
But Mike,
hand up.
Hand up.
He's been there for 2 years.
Regardless, he's been there 2 years, and actually
he's been more. But
that's fine.
GM for 2 years.
Yeah. GM for 2 years. He's been in charge of putting this team together for 2 years. You're still not wrong. Because what do we keep saying he hasn't done for Mike Tomlin yet? And that's get a quarterback. What's the first thing that GMs do these days? They get the quarterback and they ride with that quarterback. You haven't done anything. What did we do? We got Kenny Pickett. Then we went out and got Fields and Russ. Let's go get a quarterback. Oh, wait. We aren't ever in a position to get a quarterback. Why, Mike? Because we're consistently 500. It doesn't make any sense.
And that's why
it doesn't make any sense to me.
And that's why, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse.
But even then, you could still get a quarterback. Trey Lance was in year 3. You could have went and got him, but you got Fields, and then you didn't play him. You went and got old man Russ and played him. He can't even throw a ball down the field hard.
You know what? I'm going to come with a crazy point here. I thought what they did at quarterback, at least what Omar Khan did at quarterback, wasn't a bad thing because Russ, you don't know where to put the needle on him because he actually had a decent year in Denver. You have him on a cheap contract where you're not even taking most of his cap salary from Denver and paying it. And then you bring in Fields. Again, it was a good problem to have, but it became an issue Russ is doing so bad, why don't put Fields in? That's a really bad dilemma. And you want to avoid that as a team. You got to just stick with one guy. And that's why I don't think it was a bad idea to stick with Russ because he was winning. But then once you were on that streak, Justin Fields, you wanted him to learn. You wanted him to sit there. You wanted him to learn. But it's just, again, I just think they're trying. It's the cycle of the Steelers.
They just don't. They don't want to back a quarterback because they're not. You're not going to get another Big Ben. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get another. Big Ben.
Hopefully at some point
the Cowboys might not get another Troy Aikman ever. Mm-hmm. Dak Prescott's been very good. But he hasn't done what Troy Aikman's done. No one could be a Big Ben again. No one might ever be Jalen Hurts again with what the Eagles have.
I feel like they just need to pull the Band-Aid off. I feel like the Band-Aid is just hanging on by a thread, and the Band-Aid is symbolizing them just continuing to fight for a Super Bowl, get into the playoffs. I think the Band-Aid just needs to come off because
to fight for a Super Bowl.
Hold on.
Fight for a playoff win.
Okay, you know what I mean. But the thing is, it's different. Last year was different because they actually had pieces in play. People under contract still you had a chance, bro. You put a bet on them and win the Super Bowl. They still had an opportunity.
That was a very blinded bet.
That was definitely a blinded bet. They still had an opportunity to make some noise, is what I'm saying. But now when you look at the future of these guys, Najee Harris, what are you going to do with him? Justin Fields, what are you going to do with him? Russ, what are you going to do with him? TJ Watt. Everything's not really falling into place now. Guys need contracts. Guys are going to either want out, they're going to want in. It's time for just a fresh start. I know Steelers fans aren't going to want to hear it, but it's been 5-6 years of this now where you've made the playoffs and you've lost. So it's time to fucking just get something new, get something fresh. It's very simple for me. I think it's inevitable. I get why they do it, but it's just time for a change. I can keep going on. I'm going to lose my mind talking about it. It's just time for a change. I'm sorry. That's it. We've been down this road so many times. My head goes in a whirlpool every time I talk about this because I've never seen something like this happen at all, where a team over 500 makes the playoffs, first round exit. It's happened 4 years in a row now. I've never seen this, and I get why they want Mike Tomlin to stay because he's such a damn good coach. But again, I just think the writing's on the wall. I think it's just a fresh start that you need.
All right,
get more players in.
So since they...
Oh, we're going on the loophole.
So 2020. I'm going to go back to there because that's the last time they won the division. You know what? I'll even go back to the second to last time they won the division, if you want me to.
Go ahead.
All right, so they went 13-3. They had Big Ben at quarterback. 13-3. They lost the divisional. But they also didn't win a playoff game that year because they had a bye.
Yep.
Then they went 9-6-1, basically 500. You went 8-8, definitely 500. That was with Mason Rudolph. And then you had Big Ben come back. These are the last 2 years of Big Ben. 2020, you went 12-4, and you won the division, lost the wild card. Next year, 9-7-1. That's basically 500. Lost the wild card. 9-8. Didn't make the playoffs. 10-7. Oh, you lost the wild card. And then 2024, 10-7. What'd you do? Someone, please, from the back.
Say it.
Please.
Anybody?
What'd you do?
Anybody?
Anyone? Oh, you lost the wild card. How many years can we do this, man?
And that's why
it's
I think
making
it's a
me
change.
mad. It's making me mad because it's, I don't know, it's an organization that you've only had, 4 coaches?
Mm-hmm. They don't like change.
They don't like change, and that's fine. But eventually, you're going to have to get a 5th coach.
They got to know.
What are we going to do? Are we just going to keep Tom? We're going to hold Tomlin hostage until he passes away?
Like, follow, subscribe. Like, follow, subscribe. Like, follow, subscribe. Back to the show.
I can't waste my breath on it anymore. We've talked about it so much, and we've repeated this for 2 years straight now. Like, I get it. He's a great coach, but a change is needed. Like, I can't. It's so I don't know. I just
no one
can't.
else is needed to change the topic because we can't keep beating a dead horse.
Please,
these fans don't want to listen. They don't want.
I'm trying to think of a new point, but I've said all of it.
It's the same thing every time.
I'm trying to think
up.
about something else to say.
It's insane.
We'll see what happens though. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting offseason for them. They got a lot of question marks.
All right, let's get into this next topic here. We got the Rams and the Vikings. Great game for LA. Great game for LA. The Vikings fans were in a tizzy with this Darnold kid.
My guy.
I'm just gonna. Do you want to hear some texts I received last night?
Dude, they actually might be cursed as shit. Apparently, a Minnesota Vikings curse exists.
So, I received these texts.
A Christian.
All right, we don't have to call him out. Happy wildcard weekend. Oh wait, I forgot. None of your bum ass teams have a chance to win this weekend. What a shame. That's the first text.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Yeah. Good time to buy low on Sammy D's stock and become a stockholder or a scoldier. I think he spelled that wrong because he definitely wrote scoldier this postseason, right? Right here where the cursor is. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Scoldier. Yeah. I don't know. All right. So let's see. Scrolling. I'll say it because I'll just bleep it out. He said that was only called because of.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's why everyone took him, to be honest. Like, when any natural disaster happens, you got to ride with that team.
Yeah, no, I mean.
That's why I was scared of taking the Vikings, but you got to ride with the boy.
I don't know. It's tough for them because they spent a whole year. They basically just found out that Santa's not real. That's kind of what happened. The whole year they believed in this Darnold guy, and they're like, we're going to pay him. He's the future. He's the best quarterback.
Man,
and then they watched him play the last 2 weeks against actual competition where it was like a playoff game and you had to win. And it looked like he was wearing a Jets logo on his helmet.
I was trying to make every excuse in my mind, but I'm like, dude, he's holding the ball way too long.
Yeah,
like, he's not even getting it out.
You were starting to sound like a Steelers fan last night because
I was like, fuck, dude, he's really playing like shit.
Yeah, like you were telling me, it's like, well, the O-line's not blocking.
At the start, it was. At the start, it was not.
I get
like,
that, but
he was getting blown up bad.
At the same time, like, Sam, the pocket is closing.
Bad.
Just run. Get out of there. You know it's going to close. Don't step up into it and get smashed in the face by these guys. Run. He was doing such a good job running when he did it.
Bro, at one point he was like 12 for 12. He was dotting everything. And then once he got sacked, and I'll tell you what, though. Kevin O'Connell in those second down calls was brutal. They were just setting up for third and longs every time. It happened, I think, 3 times where you ran in on second down. The Rams defense, very young and very underrated. They're going to be really good next year in the future. Cam Akers, you're giving him a second down run to the fucking weak side, and you're tackling for loss like every single time. Mm-hmm. Now you're in a 3rd and 13 situation, and that's where the Jets logo hops on his helmet. Like, you got to set Sam up better for that. because obviously everyone knows you're going to pass. The O-line's got to block better, in my opinion, but he's got to get the ball out, man. That was his biggest issue. I don't know. It's weird because you see him in the pocket and the pocket's collapsing, yet he's still upright and he makes these throws, but he just wasn't making them last night. He was inaccurate. I mean, I don't know. Like I think he was just holding the ball way too long, and that was his issue. It was a whole, for me, holistically watching this game, I thought the trench battle was all on the Rams. I mean, they were playing, listen, Flo was playing soft coverage on these guys, and Stafford was just dotting the shit out of him. Stafford was getting protected. He was not getting sacked. There was a couple of hurries, but they were leaving the soft coverage, zone coverage. Puka and Kupp were just finding the spots, and they were just going 15, 20 yards downfield every time. Like, Flo should have been better on defense. That's a really good defense. I didn't like that game plan, and I thought he had a bad day for that. But same with Kevin O'Connell. Again, like, he crumbled when it mattered, and so did Sam. So where does Sam go from here? Now I think they'll probably resort to JJ. I'd be shocked if they brought him back now.
Like, comment, subscribe.
How many times are we going to do this with him?
This is his only playoff run. Let's be real here. This is his only time being in the playoffs and
But
actually having
when the pressure's on, he was in New York.
Listen,
He was in New York. The pressure was on to perform. And what happened? He's out there seeing ghosts. He couldn't play. They trade him away. This is his first opportunity since then to actually put together a season. He did very good with no pressure. There was no pressure on this team. There was no expectations on this team. He wins the job. He has a rookie behind him that's injured. There was no pressure of him being taken out, going here, there. Gets to the last game. Why are you making that face?
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, JJ was injured.
Yeah,
like Sam Darnold, the whole season up until that Lions game looked good, but there was no pressure on him. The moment that there was pressure, like, oh, we could win a 1 seed. I'm sure fans are saying stuff to him like, hey, go get that 1 seed.
That's fair.
He starts to feel pressure, comes out, puts up an egg. Then tonight, playoff game, winning in. Like, the records don't matter anymore. Cool, you had 14 wins. I just said this about, who was it? Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yeah. Oh, please. No more Pittsburgh talk.
Like, cool, you had 14 wins. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was watching with one of my buddies the other night, and he was saying something about, he's like, I wish they put the records up on the score, because they don't put the records up.
Yeah, I know.
Right? But I made a comment. I'm like, records don't matter here.
Not in the playoffs.
Like cool, you had 14 wins. They could
lose.
Put
the records up. You
they
sure
could
about
lose.
that?
No, just the ranking, the seeding.
Oh,
so,
yeah, you're right.
So it's like the Vikings. You had a great season. Like you were saying earlier, cool. You weren't supposed to be here, but the thing is, Sam, you were there. You did make it there. So at some point, you have to say, I belong here. It can't just be, oh, we weren't supposed to be here. Like, you have to start believing in yourself and say, I belong here, because you put up 245 in a miserable game. The run game actually wasn't terrible when they used it. I texted you when they was 4th and 2 and they're throwing the football, right? Aaron Jones can get you 2 yards. And I know that's not Sam Darnold's.
They weren't getting much yardage, though.
I know that's not Sam Darnold's issue. But 2 yards with Aaron Jones, they were
getting stopped big time, bro. They had maybe a couple of breakaway runs, but like when it came to
it was that drive.
When it came to A and B gap runs, they were getting stopped bad, like right around the line of scrimmage. And I think that was a big issue for them because they could not get that going. Aaron Jones could not get going. They had a couple of 4 to 5 yard runs, but listen, we're not even addressing the Rams defense. They played out of their mind. They played out of their mind.
Fantastic.
Like, that's exactly listen, you want to make it and you want to beat the Birds and you want to make it to an NFC Championship. That's how you got to play. That's how you have to play. So you got to give them credit. They played perfect. Perfect defense. But where does Sam go from here now? What do you think? Does he deserve a contract with the Vikings? Are they going to resort to JJ?
No,
is Sam going to get a contract elsewhere? Is he going to be a starter elsewhere? Because I think he will. Especially for a team like us. I think a team like the Jets or a team that's looking for some type of court. Like, Pittsburgh would be another option, bro. I think
Pittsburgh will not take him.
You don't think so?
Pittsburgh will not take him. So if Pittsburgh's going to take someone that's already in the league, they're taking Justin Fields. They're not taking Sam Darnold. They're not going to try and run this thing back with another new quarterback. At that point, you might as well just bring in Justin Fields and run it back with him.
I think he goes out west, bro. I think he's going to be somewhere out west.
Sam Darnold, there's a high probability he probably is a Giant next year.
Oh, wow.
If you really want to look at it this way, because
They went from worst to the worst.
Drew Lock just fucked the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
So Drew Lock's gone. They're not bringing him back. Tommy DeVito probably has one more preseason before he gets cut.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Daniel Jones isn't there anymore. He's in Minnesota. I could see the Vikings riding with JJ, keeping Jones, send Darnold out.
Sam. I still think he can be a starter in this league. Again, when you go, I know in the playoffs, again, he went 14-3, a fantastic record. Playoff time, crumbled, lost to the best team in the league of the Lions, and then a red-hot Rams team. That's fine. He should have done better. I know that, but he definitely deserves a chance. I might be biased.
So let's look. You are biased.
Yeah, I think
I'm just going to hit you straight. You are biased. You're a Jets fan. Jets fans love Sam Darnold. But
no, I'm the only one who likes Sam Darnold as a Jets fan. No one fucking likes him anymore. It was all Zach Wilson. Everyone hopped off shift. I was the only one to stay on. You know this.
Zach Wilson should be given another chance because Jets' track record looks really good.
BYU.
Let's look at some teams that could take Sam Darnold here. You got Cleveland Browns. Cleveland, that wouldn't be a terrible option.
Nope,
He's got weapons there. Would be a very good situation. I do think Cleveland takes a quarterback in the draft.
Vegas is another one.
You got Vegas. Vegas could be an interesting spot because what pick do they have?
They're like 4 or 5, I think. They're up there.
They'll probably draft a quarterback. That'll be an interesting one. The Giants, though,
they're going to take a quarterback.
I could see the Giants are weird though because I don't trust that front office.
Yeah, which is why I think you're going to take a quarterback.
Oh, I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say I could see them go get Darnold and bring in like weapons, but they won't get the right weapons. They'll take someone from like Purdue, Fort Wayne.
But look at it though. If the Giants I know they're going to take a quarterback. Tennessee would be another one. I know
Patriots.
The Giants are going to take a quarterback. No, they're not. He's not going to.
Listen to me.
Drake May is going to be a
Hear
starter.
Me out.
You know this.
No, I know that.
There's no shot.
I know that.
And if you want to refer to the Jets, don't even start. Don't even say it. Yeah, he's not going there. If Vrabel went for Drake May, that's going to be a problem.
Saints.
Yeah, that's where he'll lose his fucking career. He'll
Colts.
be a journeyman. Colts. I think the Colts would be a good spot.
Seahawks.
Yeah, there's options, bro. And the thing is, why that's good is because that gives a lot of leverage for these teams that don't really want to spend on a quarterback. Let's be real here. The Giants are going to take one. Even if they take one, are they really going to go anywhere? No. That team has so many holes. It doesn't matter. They're going to have the same freaking record. Like, I don't know. He's going to get his chance somewhere, and I think he's going to start. And I wouldn't be shocked. If some team doesn't want to spend on a quarterback, a high pick or maybe a teens pick, where you got a guy like Dylan Gabriel sitting there or Jalen Milroe or someone like that, Jackson Dart, I don't know, I'm just throwing names out. Like, you can use him, bring him in on a 1-year deal, and get someone if you like a D tackle or a cornerback or a guard. It's not a bad move. It's not a bad like strategic move to do.
No, I agree with you.
But the team's got to be wary of that. They got to be involved in seeing what Sam is like. Because if they cut Sam, then it gives a lot of teams options, man. Seriously, especially for a rebuilding team. You get a guy like him in there. He's going to do what he has to do. You could see if you want to keep him. If he has a good year, makes it to the playoffs. I don't know. So sad. I hate to see it, bro. I'm rooting for him badly, but after all he's been through, he's a Jet. That's number one. I'm rooting for that guy no matter what. So the fact that what he did this year was way different than what we've seen, and he actually was racking off wins, had a shot at the number 1 seed at the NFC. Good for him. You know, that's a career-changing fucking season. So
I agree. And it couldn't have helped Sam Darnold that J.J. McCarthy was clearly just over there hating on the sideline.
Yeah.
He tweeted
something.
Amor fati.
Some fucking
love of fate or love of one's fate. He's been waiting for Sam Darnold to crumble. He's known it all along.
So fucking corny.
J.J. McCarthy. No, but dude, J.J. McCarthy's the same age as us. He knew that this was coming. He knew it was coming. You were the only one that didn't know it was coming. You didn't see this coming because you were on his side. All right?
It was Sam?
Yeah, Sam's side. Me?
When you're 14-3, shit.
Yeah, 14
but again,
wins.
we said this.
14 wins he had 13 wins in non-playoff atmosphere games. The moment that the playoffs touched him, he crumbled.
Yeah, and that's what we were going to say.
Like Jimmy Neutron out there.
This is what we said, bro. Like, it depends what he does in the playoffs, which is why they're probably going to get rid of him now. If they win that game, different story. Like, this is what we were leading up to.
And if the Vikings don't want him after those 2 performances, think about this. Teams are watching what the Vikings are going to do with Sam Darnold right now. And if they don't want him after this season, yeah, they could say, well, they got JJ there. You know, they got the young guy they just took high in the draft. But at the end of the day, Sam Darnold did win you 14 games, did get you to the playoffs, did put you in a position to have the 1 seed. So what is that saying about Sam Darnold if the Vikings don't want to bring him back? I think that speaks more high on Sam Darnold's ability than it does on what the Vikings have in the building. Because if the Vikings actually believed in him and saw this season, we're like, oh, 14, he put up 14 wins, got us to the playoffs. We had a chance at the 1 seed. You know, this is our guy. Because most teams would say that's our guy.
It seemed like
if they don't say that's our guy, like it's one thing for a team to say that's our guy, and for the team to actually believe in the person,
like the Cardinals and Josh Rosen,
they were treating him like he was, I don't know, Rudy out there,
the Prince of England.
He wasn't supposed to do anything. This guy shouldn't even be in the NFL the way they were treating him. That's the way it was looking to me.
Yeah,
they had him up there looking like Rudy. Was he really, Mike, at the end of the day? Was he really between Lamar and Josh Allen?
He was in.
He doesn't have the name.
He wasn't going to listen. He wasn't going to win it, but you saw his numbers. He was in there.
Sure.
Listen, they could bring it back, bro. We don't know. They could definitely bring him back. We don't know.
Listen.
We say this because obviously they have. If JJ wasn't there and it was just Daniel Jones, this conversation would be way different. But they have JJ there. And again, they just got to play their cards right. They could bring it back and they could ship off JJ and get compensation back. Or vice versa. They trade Sam or they cut him and they just put JJ in and they hope for the best. So
I've spoken to a lot of Vikings fans over the last 24 hours. And when I say a lot, I mean 4. They want him gone.
Yep.
They want nothing to do with him. They motherfucked him last night.
They saw
They
how they sound fucking 2 weeks ago.
After the Lions game, there was speculation that he wasn't the guy. And then last night just cemented it. Cemented it.
It's amazing how that NFL works.
But it's because everyone knows Sam Darnold for being Sam Darnold.
Absolutely.
What he showed this year was not Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to the guy.
Yeah.
But in the NFL, what he showed was not Sam Darnold. It just like it wasn't Sam. That's not the Jets Sam Darnold. It wasn't the Vikings Sam Darnold at the end of the 2 days. And for Darnold fans, I'm sure it was awesome.
Oh, it's great.
But at the end of the day,
you didn't win when it mattered.
You didn't win when it mattered. Yep. You folded. You crumbled under pressure again. And now JJ is probably going to be leading this team next year, as he should.
Sam back, bro. I'll take him back in a heartbeat. Come back to New York, bro. Come back to the Jets. We need you. Please come back, dude. I still got my Darnold jersey. I'll fucking wear it, man. It's an old Reebok jersey. Why not? That'd be so
not gonna wear your Rodgers jersey.
That's gonna be burned next time I shoot 110 in golf.
All right, let's look at the divisional round.
Come on.
So divisional round is set on Saturday. We're gonna have the Texans at the Chiefs 4:30, Commanders at Lions 8 p.m., and then Sunday we got the Rams and the Eagles at 3 p.m., Ravens Bills 6:30 p.m.
What a slate.
Really
what
awesome.
A slate.
Really awesome weekend of football.
Oh, I love it.
Every matchup is really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one matchup that you're looking at like, they don't really have a shot. You know, you could say the Texans and the Chiefs, but who knows what's going to happen there. Commanders and Lions, we've already said. I think I'm taking the Commanders. And then you got the Rams and the Eagles, going to be a great game. Ravens and Bills, that is going to be the game of the playoffs. I know the Super Bowl will end up being
that'll be the best.
Ravens
game.
and Bills is going. That's the game everyone wanted to see and is getting now. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's such a. I mean, I feel like it's just merging perfectly. Mm-hmm. The Rams are the team that you don't want to see in the playoffs. They're in. Vikings are out. Ravens and Bills. Need I say more?
Yep.
Obviously, the Chiefs and the Texans. Earlier on in the year, when the Texans were rolling, I remember I said, this team could give the Chiefs the biggest problems. Very, very weird take at the time because they were so strong.
Well, now we're going to find out.
We're going to find out now. I mean, now, obviously, I would take other teams, but the way they were looking with Stephon Diggs healthy and Tank out there, they had a shot to like really compete with this team, but I think the Chiefs take that easily. And we have who else? The Rams, Birds, and then the Commies and Lions. So fantastic games. I think they're going to be. I think the Lions personally. I think they smoke the Commies. I wouldn't say smoke the Commies, but I think they handle business.
So it's currently 9.5 in favor of Detroit. I think that's a lot of points. When you look at the Commanders and the way they play, it's very close games. Very close games, and you know Jaden Daniels, we said this. There's just something about them. Like, I think the Lions will end up winning, but there's something about them that I'm just like, I gotta take the Commanders. I gotta.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just, it's chaos. It's chaos with them.
This is what remember I said this though. Like, if there's one team that deserves a bye and will be fine off the bye, it's going to be Detroit. Mm-hmm. And this is why I did not want the Birds to win, because now the Birds, if they were on a bye, I'd be a little worried. Yeah. And again, they didn't have the best offensive game against the Packers. This is a test right here. Listen, they're hot right now, and that D-line is going to have to play out of their mind. Again, you can't let Stafford sit in the pocket, but they got to keep playing. I think they win this game outright, easy, and I think the Lions win outright. I just think that matchup is going to be comedy. It's going to be not comedy, cinema. It's going to be perfect.
All right, so before we touch on the Ravens and the Bills, I want to talk about this Rams-Eagles game. What happens if the Rams come out and run it back again? What happens in Philadelphia?
And they win? Or are you just saying what
happens if the Rams come out and do what they did to the Vikings
and win
to Philly?
And win? In
Philly, yeah.
Philly's going to burn. They'll burn down.
Like, seriously, what happens to this team? Because they had another good season that didn't result in anything. You brought in Saquon. Jalen Hurts is there. The defense has been great. You know, there's going to be questions asked.
I don't think so.
If they lose,
for the future, I don't think they will.
Is Sirianni out?
It would be more of a coaching.
That's
than
more
it would
what I'm getting
personnel.
Yeah, like
I could see it.
What changes? Because something would have to change.
Sirianni. I think Sirianni would get out of there. But again, like, that's just the Philly market, dude. Like, they're fucking strict, and they want perfection. Mm-hmm. And if Sirianni is losing a game to the 6-seeded Rams at home, yeah, he's gone. Kellen Moore, again, he might get a job somewhere else too. I don't think personnel is an issue. That's going to maintain. There might be a couple of guys that they cut, whatever, trade, but all your key players, they're not going anywhere. So it'll be a coaching thing for them. For the Rams, it'll be personnel. Because they're getting old. But their defense is getting young. Offense is getting a little bit older. But obviously you got Kyron Apuka there. But
yeah. All right, so what do the Ravens have to do to take down the number 2 seeded Bills?
Contain Josh Allen. Don't let him escape the pocket. They got to contain him, and they got to blitz the fuck out of him. And they got to run exactly what they did to the Steelers. Use Lamar, use Derrick Henry. That's it. Formula, very simple. I think Zay Flowers, you get him some touches just to get him loose, get him warmed up. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be a very gritty defensive game. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be like a ground and pound type. But you gotta contain Josh Allen, keep him in the pocket, let him throw. Not even let him throw, but get him, like sack him, and make sure that he doesn't knock off big plays. If they can limit the big plays on offense, I think they have a shot. And Derrick Henry, same for the Bills. The same thing there. They got to stop Derrick Henry, mm-hmm. and they got to contain Lamar. I mean, you got to focus on those guys. Let the secondary do what they have to do, especially for Buffalo. You don't have to. There's no need. Like, you can send a blitz. Why not? You can blitz a little bit, have a heavier blitz package, but I don't think anyone on their receiving core really scares you for Buffalo. Like, Zay will get his here and there, limit the big passes to Bateman, and I don't know. It's going to be defensive. So.
What scares me for the Ravens is that Josh Allen can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we said
they got to make him uncomfortable.
You got to make him uncomfortable. You got to make him feel like he's playing like shit, because that's when he tries to do too much. If you let him sit in the pocket and let him scramble without being touched at the line of scrimmage, it's going to be a long day for that defense, because he's going to pick you apart. Mm-hmm. He has a bunch of guys out there that will just run and run and run and run until they get open, and he seems to find them every time.
Punch him in the mouth. You got to hit first, man. If you're the Ravens, you got to hit first, and you can't wait. You got to fucking punch him in the mouth.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens when they go up there to Buffalo. Tough place to play.
Tough place to play, man.
Tough place to play.
God, what a game.
Let's do our 3-2-1. 3-2-1, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
All right.
What we got first? We're going money line.
Just to win. Just to win. You confused this last time because you were like,
I know, because I get in the bed.
And then you were like, I'm going to take the Packers. And then you were trying to back it up and say, well, I want them to cover. I don't want them to win.
Yeah.
Listen, we're doing a win.
Money line.
Whoever you're picking, it's to win.
Let's go.
All right. Texans at the Chiefs. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Chiefs. Commanders at the Lions. 3, 2, 1. Commanders. Rams at the Eagles. 3, 2, 1. Eagles. Ravens at the Bills. 3, 2, 1.
Ravens.
Bills.
All right, so we have 2. So I'm going all. Well, Ravens are a dog.
Ravens are a dog.
Do you think the Commies are going to win? You really think they're that good?
Dude, I don't know, dude. They keep winning. They have this magic going.
Wow. All right, hey, good bet.
Team of Destiny.
Team of Destiny. There you go.
I'm going to stick with them.
So we're 2 of the same. So we're on the Chiefs and we're on the Birds. And then the Lions and Ravens were swapped.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Tail the parlay because Muller's hot. Playoff Muller's here.
I don't know how I did that.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was crazy. I didn't realize
I'm glad you like pat yourself on the back with that post.
I didn't realize
you deserved it.
Dude. I was like, that was crazy.
And you put that bet.
That was
in.
crazy.
Good for you.
That was a big bet. Saved the year.
Save the year. The year's over for me. Actually, no, it's not. It's Super Bowl. That's why I need the Ravens to win. I need the Ravens and Detroit Lions to win. I have a chance.
Gotcha. All right. All right.
See you guys later.
Peace out.